On The Young and the Restless, tomorrow, Monday, July 21st, 2025, Nick's on edge as he feels impending doom. We've got the photo spoilers of what's coming up. Nick expresses his concerns to Sharon about being framed for Damien's murder. Can he figure out a way to save himself? Phyllis and Billy might have more in common than they were willing to admit. Both of them intend to profit from a relationship with Cane. Jack was upset when he found out that Billy intended to shift his priorities from Abbott Communications to Chancellor Industries. He was even more unnerved when Billy told him he planned to let Sally run the company instead. Does Jack think he got through to his brother? Or does he have even more concerns about his investment? Phyllis is sure that Cane did not kill Damien, but Sharon still wants to protect her friend from landing in hot water again. Can Sharon convince Phyllis to tread carefully where Cane is involved? Kyle and Audra were last seen kissing. Have they taken things further? And if so, are they actually both all in on this attraction? Or is one of them not as vulnerable as they're pretending to be? Nick is stunned, déconcert, and angry when he gets paid a visit by Carter and his henchmen. He's even more outraged when Carter announces that he is placing him under house arrest for the safety of Cane and the comfortability of the other guests. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. On the July 26th episode of The Young and the Restless, Phyllis protects her interests, Jack is blindsided by Billy's decision-making, and Kyle calls Audra's bluff. Phyllis has been playing with fire ever since she arrived at Cane's chateau. She got her audience with Cane and assured him that she would do whatever it took to be part of his team, even if that meant betraying Jack, Billy, and Nick. Still, Phyllis objected to taking part in anything that might result in Nick being framed for Damien's death. On Monday's episode, watch for Phyllis to protect her interests. Does that mean she'll put personal gain over Nick's welfare? Phyllis still cares for Nick, and she's maintaining a cordial rapport with Sharon. We can't see her throwing Nick under a bus for a corner suite in one of Cane's new properties in Genoa City. On Monday's show, watch for Jack to be blindsided by Billy's decision-making. Jack has made it clear in no uncertain terms what he thinks of Billy's plan to team up with Cane and put Abbott Communications to the side. Billy has had a dispassionate attitude about Damien's death. Now, he's going to make a choice that could leave Jack even more stunned. Jack knows his younger brother. He accurately pointed out that Billy is, in a way, gambling by teaming up with Cane. Jack wants Billy to stay busy with his media venture, not by going up against Victor in a war that he may not win. Audra appeared truly sad over Damien's death when she came to Kyle's cabin for some comfort. Kyle didn't call his cosmetics rival out or accuse her of using Damien's murder as an excuse to cozy up to him. However, Audra did end up kissing Kyle, and he responded. On Monday's show, watch for Kyle to call Audra's bluff. If she tries to have sex with him, he just might accuse her of doing this because she's on Victor's payroll. Kyle's got a lot riding on not breaking Claire's heart. Audra may be in over her head. The Young and the Restless, spoilers for the next 2 weeks, July 21st to August 1st, reveal that Chancellor will grill a new suspect before more victims are targeted. Sally Spectra will also get a shock, so there'll be a lot happening on the CBS soap. During the week of July 24-25, Audra Charles will realize Kyle Abbott tricked her into thinking her plan was working. After Kyle stops their makeout session, he'll tell Audra he knows she's been plotting with Victor Newman to end his relationship with Claire Newman. Later, Kyle will give Nikki Newman updates, so she won't be happy about Victor's actions. However, Victor will be busy helping Chance interrogate a new suspect, namely Carter. Carter will have to answer some tough questions about his level of devotion to Cane Ashby, but he'll defend Cane and deny helping with Damien Cane's murder. Of course, Carter will still be making some shady moves, like putting Nick Newman and Sharon Newman on house arrest away from the other guests. Nick's efforts to escape will lead to some chaos, so he'll get wounded and become even more enraged over this whole situation. Sally will get a shock and help tend to Nick's injury. After Billy forms an alliance with Phyllis Summers, he may come to Nick's aid too. Speaking of Phyllis, she'll have a tense encounter with Lily that puts them at odds over whether Cane's innocent. As Cane tries to access the backup security footage, Amanda Sinclair will worry he might be erasing proof. Cane will suggest he could ask Amanda the same question and wonder if she's the reason the first copy of the footage disappeared. Meanwhile, Lily and Audra will find themselves unsettled over a noise near the maze. Nikki will face some alarm bells as well, since someone's about to trap her in a risky situation. The killer seems poised to go after more victims and will leave Nikki in need of a rescue, so we'll see if Victor, Cane, or someone else will step up. The week of July 28th, August 1st will bring more whodunit developments, so viewers will be eager to see when the real murderer will be revealed. Plenty of fans suspect Carter is the culprit, so will Y&R deliver a predictable outcome or go for someone more surprising when it's time for that revelation? Cell service may be restored eventually, so that could give Nate Hastings and Amy Lewis a chance to hear the horrible news about Damien's grim fate. Claire may also finally make contact with Kyle and let him know that Cole Howard passed away. Kyle will hate that he's been away from Claire all this time while she's been suffering in Genoa City. Victoria Newman will keep grieving the loss, but she won't have to do it alone. The Young and the Restless spoilers update for the week of July 24 and 25 reveals that Kyle Abbott will rat out Victor Newman, while Cane Ashby and Amanda Sinclair point fingers. Jack Abbott will also face a harsh rejection, so here's what Y&R has in store. For starters, Billy Abbott's decision to reject Jack's funding and try to get Cane's support instead will add to the conflict between them. After Billy and Phyllis Summers see the potential for a new alliance, they'll agree to form a plan and try to get Cane off the hook the crimes he's being accused of. Next, Kyle will call Audra Charles out on her scheming and pump the brakes on any passion between them. Audra will realize she's in trouble since Victor will remain adamant that for Vibrante to move forward, Audra needs to break up Kyle and Claire Newman. While Audra tries to figure out another solution, Kyle will be busy spilling to Nikki Newman about Victor's plan to use Audra to destroy his romance with Claire. Over with Lily Winters, Y&R spoilers say she'll have a heated confrontation with Phyllis and stand by her belief that Cane is guilty of murder. Cane will eventually check the security footage again once the backup generates at the 24-hour mark. Amanda will come along and ask if Cane's destroying evidence, but he'll wonder if she already did that since she had access to that office. While Amanda and Cane point fingers at each other, Carter will force Nick Newman and Sharon Newman to go on house arrest, though he'll likely keep that news under wraps. Nick and Sharon will be trapped somewhere on the premises, so that'll lead to Nick's efforts to find an escape route. Unfortunately, Nick's plot will blow up in his face when he gets injured. Sharon and Sally Spectra will help Nick, who'll be bleeding from his abdomen after the plan goes wrong. Billy will eventually meet up with Sally and give attention to a victim, so he may realize Nick's hurt and do his part to help. As for Victor and Chance Chancellor, they'll put Carter through a grilling session. Carter will admit he's loyal to Mr. Dumas, but he'll deny having anything to do with Damien Cane's demise. Of course, Carter could easily be lying to cover his own tracks, so no one should rule him out as a suspect just yet. Finally, Nikki will land in a dangerous situation. Someone will corner Nikki, so the killer may decide to strike again and put her life on the line. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Nick Newman will be injured in an escape attempt, so Sally Spectra and Sharon Newman will leap into action. After Carter forces Nick and Sharon to go on house arrest, they'll find themselves trapped and will struggle to find a way out. Of course, Cane Ashby's guests haven't exactly been free anyway since they've been stranded on a mountain with no cell service, but Sharon and Nick will face an even worse captivity situation. Sharon may feel a sense of déjà vu since she's been held hostage way too much in recent months. It'll be happening all over again, but Nick will vow to get them out of there. Unfortunately, that'll be easier said than done thanks to an armed security guard. Plus, there's a killer on the loose who could add to the danger, so Nick will be risking a lot when he tries to find a path to freedom. One way or another, Nick's escape attempt will end in disaster. Y&R spoilers say Nick will get injured, so things will go from bad to worse. Whether the security guard strikes, or perhaps the killer instead, Nick will wind up with a bloody gash on his side. That'll leave Nick in need of medical attention, but he won't be able to get it right away. Thankfully, Nick will still score some assistance. Sally will somehow enter the mix and help Nick by applying some pressure to his wound. No matter how all the drama erupts, Sharon and Sally will be there for injured Nick as he deals with this derailed getaway. In his office, Cane shows Chance the security footage that he has been gathering, and the cop questions why they were being monitored. Cane assures him he hasn't been spying on anyone's bedrooms. He's confident the footage will clear him. When they get to the moment when Damien was attacked, the video blanks out. Cane freaks and Chance asks who else has access to this room and the equipment. Ashby explains that would be Amanda and Carter. The cop is confident that one of them messed with the footage. "Why would I erase the only footage that would prove that I'm innocent?" Cane asks. He needs to get to the bottom of this more than anyone because his freedom and life depend on it. Jack and Diane come upon Billy in the dining area. "Groundhog Day again," Jack complains. Billy guesses they didn't hear the big news and fills them in on Damien getting a knife in the back last night. The question is, who did it and why? They agree this is awful. Billy explains that someone hiked down to the mountain to get the police, but Chance has been investigating so far. This all seems strange and too convenient to Diane. She speculates that all the random events must be connected. The killer is out there, and they are trapped like bugs in a jar. Diane notices Sally isn't present and says none of them should be alone right now. Billy changes the topic to Lily and Damien hooking up. Jack assumes he's suggesting Cane killed Damien out of jealousy. His brother hopes that's not true because it would put a stop sign on his business deal. This leads to Jack arguing with him about his priorities. They bicker about Billy sidelining Abbott Communications for a chance at Chancellor. Billy is determined to get it back. His brother complains that he should have known he would sabotage a good thing when he agreed to invest in him. Diane is sure Cane wouldn't kill someone with so many people around. Billy suggests that Cane simply ended up in the right place at the right time. "Whatever you think, whatever you heard, I had nothing to do with Damien's death," Cane insists as he joins them. He announces that he was the intended victim. That's why he invited Chance. But he didn't think that the killer would make a move while he was surrounded by people. Jack asks who is targeting him. Cane doesn't know. Billy suggests it could be the Newmans. Cane explains that Nick made it clear he would do anything to protect his family. Jack thinks the suggestion that Nick tried to kill him is preposterous, but Billy isn't so sure. He's seen him lose it, and he could easily go too far. Cane's sure that's a real possibility. Standing in his towel, Kyle answers a frantic tapping on his door. It's Audra with horrible news. Damien is dead. It doesn't even seem real. It's shocking that he was stabbed. "Poor Nate," she frets, adding that this will break Amy's heart. All she wanted was for Amy and Damien to make peace before she died. They did, and her friend was getting better because her son was in her life again. This news could destroy her. Audra wants to call home, but can't, so she doesn't know who to turn to. The moment Nate and Amy learn what's happened, their hearts will be smashed into a million pieces. Audra admits she's a mess. Kyle says she can stay as long as she needs to. This all feels like a bad dream to her. They discuss how freaked out Lily is, and her suspicion that Cane killed Damien. This doesn't make much sense to them, but Audra adds that love can make you do crazy things sometimes. So far, the police don't even seem to have been notified. Phyllis walks into the club car where Sharon and Nick are eating. None of them knows why they bothered to sleep last night. Phyllis asks Nick if anything else was found in his cabin last night. He says the dagger was enough and starts venting. He's worried about his parents. His father is ready to throttle Cane. Sharon is sure things will be sorted out once the police arrive. Nick doubts that Cane has even sent for them. Phyllis reminds Nick that she was with Cane last night, and he couldn't have framed him. Nick assumes Cane could be stalling the cops to clean up the evidence. Chance can't really do anything. Any DNA from the killer at the scene of the crime is likely long gone by now. He complains that Ashby has been manipulating them all along. Phyllis remains certain that there is a reasonable explanation for what's happened. She suggests she's seeing things far more clearly than Nick is. Sharon agrees that this is all a puzzle. The redhead thinks Cane hasn't hidden anything. He's only had his heart broken by Lily and is hurting. Nick reminds Phyllis that Cane is framing her daughter's father for murder. Phyllis thinks he's talking nonsense and repeats that she and Chance were with Cane the entire time. She doesn't believe he's being framed and suggests he focus his rage on finding the real killer. Nick told her to pick a side, and it seems like she has. Phyllis says she will always be on his side. In a huff, Nick accuses her of selling her soul just for a job and stomps out. Phyllis pushes Sharon to throw in her 2 cents. Sharon is sure Nick didn't mean what he said and assures Phyllis she's not thinking the worst of her. After thanking Sharon for giving her the benefit of a doubt, Phyllis explains that's all she's trying to do for Cane. They sit, and Sharon reminds Phyllis that Cane has been lying to them about a lot. As much as she doesn't want to believe he's a killer, she points out that Phyllis didn't find Cane until after Damien had been stabbed. Sharon is struggling with why she's so confident Cane is innocent. Phyllis explains that the look of terror and the fear in his voice were something that can't be faked. They've both known that terror, and it's real. Once they agree that Nick had nothing to do with this, they wonder who would kill Damien and try to pin it on Nick. Who would be capable of that? The Abbotts wouldn't do it. Neither would the Winters family, Michael, or Lauren. When they get to Sally, Phyllis wishes it was her or Audra, but concedes that they aren't killers. That leaves the people who work for Cane, and that means the murderer is out there with Nick and Cane in their crosshairs. In his train car, Kyle and Audra realize that coming on this trip was probably a bad idea. He wonders if Cane is playing an elaborate game by piling another mystery onto the other mysteries. Audra wouldn't put that past him, but points out that the corpse Lily saw was real. When a door slams, she jumps and rubs up against Kyle. He says anyone would be rattled at a time like this. Kyle tells Audra they need to sit tight. He assures her they will be okay. When Kyle suggests she go to check on Lily, Audra admits she doesn't want to go anywhere. Running her hand over his arm, she says she feels safe with him. They look into each other's eyes and then start kissing intensely. Nick runs into Chance outside the maze. He's not happy when the detective informs him that he checked the security footage and it goes blank at the time of the murder. "This whole thing is a setup. He's been playing us the whole time," Nick insists. He recounts how Cane announced someone was trying to kill him, and now someone is dead. Ashby has been manipulating everything. Chance knows that, but he's one cop with no resources and no jurisdiction. What is he supposed to do? Nick urges him to rattle some cages and asks if he really thinks he will sit around and do nothing. He threatens to walk down the mountain and find help if he has to. "Someone else needs to take control of this damn game," he bellows. Jack, Billy, Diane, and Cane emerge from the maze. Cane is asked where the cops are. He doesn't know. Immediately, Nick accuses him of lying and declares that he's sick of it. "I'm going to blow this whole thing wide open before somebody else gets hurt or worse," he vows. Things unfolded in a week full of secrets, revelations, and emotional roller coasters on The Young and the Restless as a romantic trip to Nice turned deadly. It began with personal declarations and hidden agendas, quickly escalating to a murder investigation that shocked everyone. Damien Cane's shock death set off a chain of events that led to questioning of a variety of people, evidence tampering, and a manhunt for the real killer. Everyone was scrambling to protect themselves and those they loved as suspicion fell in every direction, and not all relationships survived the fallout. Lily went public with Damien, leaving Cane deeply upset. When Cane asked for a private conversation with Damien, tensions flared. Although Cane promised he would back off for Lily's sake, something mysterious happened next. Both men fell ill after sharing drinks, and before they could get to a physician, a gloved figure approached and stabbed Damien in the back. Cane caught him as he staggered. Phyllis entered during the chaos and saw Cane holding the dying man. The death was significant as it changed the momentum and immediately cast suspicion on Cane. Cane was adamant he was innocent, claiming the knife throw indicated he was the target. Phyllis was doubtful, but she explained what she saw, which raised more questions than it answered. Chance was pulled into the mix unofficially, and Cane offered Chance $500,000 to be hired privately to investigate the incident. Amanda continued to defend Cane, despite some uncertainty, while Phyllis pushed for a detailed explanation of events. Lily stumbled across Damien's covered body, pulled back the sheet, and was confronted with her worst nightmare. As Chance began formally questioning all of the guests, tensions escalated. Amanda continued to defend Cane while also urging him to be forthcoming. Lily believed Cane had a motive and grew even more suspicious after learning that Cane knew Lily was involved with Damien shortly before the murder. In a shocking turn of events, Nick found the bloody dagger stashed away in his bathroom of his sleeper car and accused Cane of trying to frame him. Cane dismissed Nick's claims, and Chance took the dagger while everyone began to sift through the truth. Things escalated when Nick threatened Cane, telling him to come at him face to face if he wanted to fight. Nick suspected he might be getting set up and didn't mind taking it a step further. Phyllis and Sharon continued to theorize possible suspects related to Cane, not to the guests. Amanda didn't fully know if Cane was innocent, but was willing to defend him, albeit with caution. At the same time, Victor and Nikki pledged to protect the family, even if that included taking down into their own hands against Cane. As the murder investigation heated up, Kyle cheated on Summer with Audra, an indicator of how deeply trust and loyalty had eroded. And Cane discovered ultimately that vital security video was deleted just before Damien's murder. When Chance asked who had access to the video, he was told only Carter and Amanda did. This escalated suspicion levels even more, although Cane denied any involvement in the deletion. As everything unfolded, Billy, Jack, and Diane argued about Cane's possible motives, while Nick threatened to finally reach out to the authorities himself. With multiple secrets coming to light in their separate investigation, drama continued. After weeks shrouded in silence, the man Genoa City assumed was too broken to rise again has stepped out of the shadows. Damien, no longer a helpless figure in a hospital bed, has returned with a fire in his eyes and a purpose carved into every breath. His secret recovery has given him clarity, and that clarity now points to a truth no one else dared to say aloud. He knows who plunged the knife into his back, both literally and metaphorically. In a bombshell press conference that sent shockwaves through the city, Damien dismantled the web of lies layer by layer. His primary goal? To exonerate Nick, who has been languishing in a jail cell, framed for the crime. Damien revealed the cornerstone of the frame-up, a piece of security footage that would have proven Nick's innocence was not lost or corrupted, but deliberately and precisely erased. This was not negligence, it was sabotage. While Damien cleared Nick's name, he did not offer a simple solution. He publicly stated that Cane, the man suspicion has clung to like a second skin, was not the one who physically attacked him. However, he painted a damning picture of a wider conspiracy, highlighting the whispered alliances and deliberate silences that Cane willingly hid within. Damien didn't name the hand that struck, but he implicated the architects of the stage on which he nearly lost his life, leaving Cane trapped in a purgatory between innocence and guilt. This public declaration was made possible by Lily, who played a dangerous game of her own. She had acted as Damien's secret sentinel, shielding his location even from the police and her own family, bearing the heavy burden of his trust. She rebuffed Cane's persistent, carefully measured questions about Damien's condition, recognizing his self-interest masquerading as concern. However, Damien's survival has created a chilling paradox. The attacker, once facing a murder charge, is now only guilty of attempted homicide. This legal downgrade makes them more dangerous, giving them a powerful motive to silence Damien permanently before he can testify. The real danger has only just begun. Entering this volatile situation is Chance, arriving from overseas not as an observer, but as an officer of the law. His mission is clear: protect Damien, investigate the conspiracy, and unravel the network of power that orchestrated the attack. His investigation immediately zeroes in on Cane, whose every move is now under a microscope. While Chance hunts for a conspirator, a killer hunts for their target. In Genoa City, the truth may set one man free, but it's about to place everyone else directly in the line of fire. Y&R spoilers for Monday, July 23rd, 2025. The shocking death of Damien has cast a dark shadow over Genoa City, and as police intensify their search for a killer, the hallowed halls of the Newman mansion have become a pressure cooker of suspicion. For Nick Newman, Every moment under house arrest is agony. Confined within his own home, the whispers of family and friends now sound like accusations, pushing him to the brink of self-doubt as he becomes the primary suspect in the eyes of many. While Nick stews in forced isolation, the brilliant but emotionally volatile attorney Amanda Sinclair feels her instincts screaming that something is amiss. Her sharp gaze has fallen on Cane&Amanda, whose recent behavior has been unusually secretive and evasive. Amanda's suspicion escalates when she discovers Cane in his office late at night, frantically attempting to delete security footage. Though she lacks definitive proof, her gut tells her she stumbled upon a conspiracy to destroy evidence, a dangerous game she is now unwillingly a part of. Their tense confrontation is a powder keg of accusations. Cane's desperate claim that he's merely trying to back up files before they're erased does little to quell Amanda's fears. The tables turn when he coldly questions her own motives, and if she's the one with something to hide. In this web of deceit, trust is a luxury no one can afford. Meanwhile, the indomitable Victor Newman refuses to be a bystander to his family's crisis. With his signature sharp instincts, Victor launches his own investigation, setting his sights on those closest to the situation. He orchestrates a tense confrontation with Carter, Cane's fiercely loyal assistant, with investigator Chance Chancellor present to witness every flicker of emotion. "Do you know anything about a plan to kill Damien?" Victor asks point-blank, his eyes like ice. Facing the immense pressure, Carter remains cool, delivering an unnervingly ambiguous response. "It's true that I can do anything for Mr. Ashby, but I did not do the things you think I did." The non-denial only deepens the mystery. If Carter didn't commit the act, is he covering for his boss? Or is he a pawn in a much larger, more sinister plot? The tragedy has also awakened a new, determined fire in Damien's brother, Nate Hastings. No longer content to live in his brother's shadow, Nate embarks on a personal mission for justice, vowing to uncover the truth no matter the cost. His independent investigation begins to unearth shady financial dealings and hidden connections, revealing that nearly everyone in this tragic saga has secrets to protect. As Chance's official investigation closes in, both Amanda and Carter find themselves prime suspects. The discovery of deleted video files puts them directly in the hot seat, forcing them to choose between loyalty and self-preservation. For Amanda, it's a soul-crushing dilemma: protect her one-time associate or fight for the justice Damien deserves, a choice that could destroy her career and reputation. Night falls on a restless Genoa City, leaving its residents to battle their inner demons. Nick questions if he'll ever be free, Amanda weighs morality against the law, and Carter knows one wrong move could drag both him and Cane into an inescapable abyss. As secrets unravel and trust disintegrates, the hunt for Damien's killer threatens to tear the city's most powerful families apart at the seams. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the next 2 weeks, July 28th to August 1st, reveal that Chance Chancellor will grill a new suspect before more victims are targeted. Sally Spectra will also get a shock, so there'll be a lot happening on the CBS soap. During the week of July 21st to 25, Audra Charles will realize Kyle Abbott tricked her into thinking her plan was working. After Kyle stops their makeout session, he'll tell Audra he knows she's been plotting with Victor Newman to end his relationship with Claire Newman. Later, Kyle will give Nikki Newman updates, so she won't be happy about Victor's actions. However, Victor will be busy helping Chance interrogate a new suspect, namely Carter. Carter will have to answer some tough questions about his level of devotion to Cane&Amanda, but he'll defend Cane and deny helping with Damien Cane's murder. Of course, Carter will still be making some shady moves, like putting Nick Newman and Sharon Newman on house arrest away from the other guests. Nick's efforts to escape will lead to some chaos, so he'll get wounded and become even more enraged over this whole situation. Sally will get a shock and help tend to Nick's injury. After Billy forms an alliance with Phyllis Summers, he may come to Nick's aid too. Speaking of Phyllis, she'll have a tense encounter with Lily that puts them at odds over whether Cane's innocent. As Cane tries to access the backup security footage, Amanda Sinclair will worry he might be erasing proof. Cane will suggest he could ask Amanda the same question and wonder if she's the reason the first copy of the footage disappeared. Meanwhile, Lily and Audra will find themselves unsettled over a noise near the maze. Nikki will face some alarm bells as well, since someone's about to trap her in a risky situation. The killer seems poised to go after more victims and will leave Nikki in need of a rescue, so we'll see if Victor, Cane, or someone else will step up. The week of July 28th, August 1st will bring more whodunit developments, so viewers will be eager to see when the real murderer will be revealed. Plenty of fans suspect Carter is the culprit, so will Y&R deliver a predictable outcome or go for someone more surprising when it's time for that revelation? Cell service may be restored eventually, so that could give Nate Hastings and Amy Lewis a chance to hear the horrible news about Damien's grim fate. Claire may also finally make contact with Kyle and let him know that Cole Howard passed away. Kyle will hate that he's been away from Claire all this time while she's been suffering in Genoa City. Victoria Newman will keep grieving the loss, but she won't have to do it alone. The silence in Nick Newman's suite was deafening, broken only by the low hum of a laptop. On the screen, a grainy video played out a nightmare in time-stamped, undeniable horror. The truth, once a phantom slipping through Nick's grasp, was finally here, and it was more horrifying than he could have ever imagined. The missing USB, his only hope for vindication in Damien's murder, hadn't just been stolen. It had been hidden by the perpetrators themselves. The footage was a dagger to the heart. It wasn't a crime of passion or a scuffle gone wrong. It was a cold, calculated execution. There on the screen were two familiar faces in the shadows of the park, Phyllis Summers and Cane Ashby. They weren't fighting, they were conspiring, their hushed gestures and exchanged glances painting a portrait of a deadly alliance. The video captured Damien's final moments and, just as damningly, showed Phyllis retreating into the darkness, clutching the very USB that would later become the center of Nick's torment. It was Sharon's unwavering instinct that unearthed the digital smoking gun. While Nick spiraled, she watched. She noticed Phyllis's erratic behavior, the smiles that didn't reach her eyes, and the telltale glint of silver, the USB drive, being hastily tucked away. With trembling hands, she seized her moment, searching Phyllis's purse and finding the one thing that could save Nick or destroy them all. But the truth rarely stays contained in Genoa City. Unbeknownst to Nick and Sharon, Phyllis herself stood frozen in the hallway, listening as her entire world collapsed. Realizing they had the evidence, panic gave way to pure terror. Fleeing to the safety of her room, she made a frantic call to her co-conspirator. "They know!" she hissed into the phone to Cane. "Nick has the video. He saw everything." The alliance, forged in murder, shattered in a single phone call. Cane's fury at Phyllis for keeping the USB, her insurance, quickly turned to dread. "If Nick goes to the cops, it's over," he seethed. "We go down, both of us." That's when the venom truly surfaced, as the two schemers realized their only way out might be to turn on each other. "You were the one who stabbed him, Cane," Phyllis stated flatly, her voice dripping with ice. "I was just the cleanup crew." A chilling proposition hung in the air. Who would the police believe? The grieving ex, or the man with a reputation for betrayal? Back in the suite, Nick closed the laptop, his expression hardened into a mask of grim resolve. He looked at Sharon, the one person who had stood by him. "We go to the police, tonight." But in Genoa City, the truth is never the end. It's the beginning of the war. With Phyllis and Cane cornered like trapped animals, their next move won't be surrender. It will be annihilation. In the upcoming episode of the CBS soap opera, The Young and the Restless, airing on July 21st, 2025, viewers can expect tension, drama, and emotional fallout with a scary moment in the garden, a serious grilling session from Victor, and plenty of trouble as secrets and lies start to come to light. The murder mystery is heating up, and no one is safe from suspicion. The episode's main focus includes a frightening experience shared by Lily and Audra in the Newman garden, and Victor teaming up with Chance to question Carter about what really happened to Damien Cane. At the same time, Kyle and Audra try to deal with the mess they've made after betraying others, and Nick finds himself in even more trouble when Carter makes a bold move against him. After getting close in the previous episode of The Young and the Restless, Kyle and Audra now have to deal with what happened between them. Their secret moment could ruin their relationships with Claire and Nate, who are already struggling after Damien's murder. On Monday, Kyle and Audra might decide it was a mistake and choose to keep it a secret. Still, what they did continues to weigh on them, especially since their feelings might be stronger than they want to admit. Later in the episode on The Young and the Restless, things get tense when Audra and Lily are in the Newman garden and hear a strange noise. The sound scares them, especially after everything that's happened with Damien's murder. Their fear shows just how nervous and on edge everyone is right now. It might just be someone they know showing up, but the moment still shows how much fear is hanging over the estate. Victor and Chance are still pushing hard to find out the truth about Damien's murder. This time, they focus on Carter, who worked closely with Cane. In a tense conversation, they ask Carter what he knew about Cane's possible plan to kill Damien. Carter admits he's very loyal to Mr. Dumas, but strongly denies having anything to do with the murder. He also claims that Cane is innocent. However, his unclear answers and strong defense make things even more suspicious. This episode of The Young and the Restless also brings a twist for Nick. While the full details won't be shown on Monday, it's revealed that Nick will soon be placed under house arrest. In a bold and unexpected move, Carter shows up to confront Nick, and he doesn't come alone. This shows that Carter isn't just reacting to what's happening around him. Instead, he's making moves of his own, which could shake up the whole investigation and put even more pressure on the Newman family. Monday's episode will be packed with suspense and strong emotions as secrets start to unravel. The fallout from past actions is growing, and it's getting harder for the characters to hide the truth. With so much going on, everyone involved is getting closer to a breaking point. Mystery and shocking twists will have the Genoa City residents reeling. The Young and the Restless Spoilers Weekly Update for July 21-25 tease a whole lot more drama coming to the garden partygoers. Another heated exchange, another fiery showdown, and another victim have everyone on edge. Monday, attempted to make peace with Damien. "Hey boys." But their private conversation took a deadly turn when a hidden attacker stabbed Damien. As Cane cradled the dying man, Phyllis arrived and questioned his involvement. Meanwhile, Amanda confronted Lily about her new relationship with Damien, expressing concern that Lily was flaunting it in Cane's face. Lily insisted her feelings for Damien were genuine and firmly rejected any possibility of reconciliation with Cane. Was found dead after a stabbing at Cane's estate. Cane maintained he was the intended victim, not Damien, and that the dagger was thrown from a distance. Phyllis questioned Cane's version of events. Chance arrived to investigate, but found that crucial evidence, including the murder weapon and bourbon glasses, had disappeared. Amanda expressed concern over the missing items and the implications of Cane's involvement. Meanwhile, Lily, devastated by Damien's death, grappled with the possibility that Cane might be responsible. Wednesday grew increasingly suspicious of Cane, believing he was concealing something about Damien's death. Chance's investigation faced obstacles as he lacked jurisdiction, leading to stalled progress. Meanwhile, Nick discovered the murder weapon in his sleeping car, leading him to suspect he was being framed. Amanda confronted Cane, pressing him for the truth, while Lily struggled with the possibility that Cane might be involved in Damien's demise. Devin and Abby debated Cane's potential motives, and Phyllis defended him, though her involvement raised questions. Confronted Cane, accusing him of orchestrating Damien's murder and planting the weapon in Nick's bathroom to frame him. Amanda, while skeptical of Cane's involvement, pressed him for the truth to ensure a solid defense. Phyllis corroborated his account, asserting he couldn't have moved the dagger. Meanwhile, Chance, lacking jurisdiction, struggled to advance the investigation, but remained focused on uncovering the facts. Lily, devastated by Damien's death, questioned Cane's motives, suspecting he might have orchestrated the murder. Victor, upon hearing the news, vowed to protect his family's interests and considered leveraging the situation to his advantage. As tensions escalated, the mystery deepened, leaving everyone questioning who was truly responsible for Damien's demise. Audra sought comfort with Kyle after a tense family upheaval, and their late-night intimacy hinted at deeper motives behind her emotional shift. Meanwhile, Cane's crucial evidence disappeared from the investigation, stalling progress and leaving Chance and Amanda scrambling for answers. Nick, convinced Phyllis had compromised her integrity to protect his career, lashed out, accusing her of selling her soul, and stormed off to confront his parents. Monday is blindsided by Billy's decision-making. Phyllis protects her interests. Kyle calls Audra's bluff, demands Audra to hold her end of their bargain. Nick and Sharon find themselves in a dangerous situation. Nikki gives Cane a warning. Wednesday, July 23, 2025. Episode about Victor's deal with Audra. Lily stands her ground with Phyllis. Cane questions Amanda's loyalty. Victor and Chance confront a new suspect. Nick's plan to escape backfires. Jack makes a tough decision about Billy, takes matters into his own hands. Billy and Sally work together to help an innocent victim. Nikki is backed into a corner.